Y'all, I'm going to show you how to stop wasting money hiring marketing agencies. Now, we've all hired agencies of some way, shape, or form, whether it's marketing or sales or PR. And oftentimes it doesn't work out. We may as well have just flushed that money down the toilet. We get down with a $5,000 a month retainer for 6 months, and we put $30,000 into that. And we look back and go, man, I could have used that money so many other places. What I've found is oftentimes the issue is me, or the issue is you. And I'm going to walk you through my agency aligner method that I use to better align with the agencies and really set that whole relationship up for success. Before I dive into the iPad and kind of show all the fancy stuff on here, like I tend to do here on this YouTube channel, if you're listening to this on the podcast version, head over to YouTube because I'm going to show a visual. I'm going to show my actual agency aligner worksheet, but I'll do my best to talk through it here for the podcast listeners that are listening on the go. So the problems that we experience as entrepreneurs, or if you're working in a business and you're hiring an agency, we hire an agency and oftentimes we hope they perform, right? Because we're hiring a professional. And if we're hiring a marketing agency or a paid traffic agency or an SEO agency or a PR agency, we are going, man, we vetted them, we talked to them, we've looked at clients have had success with them. I might have even got a referral from someone who I know who had success with them. So we go, they know what they're doing. And once we hire them, we then kind of take a step back and we say, well, they are a professional. They know what they're doing. And we're going to hope they perform. We're going to have the monthly call with them and hope they perform. Right. And oftentimes it doesn't work that way. And then we leave them alone to do their job. Right. We map out original plan with them, might set some goals. We feel we're clear. We feel that they're clear. And then we want to leave them alone to do their job. But oftentimes we're or a month in, 2 months in, 3 months in, and we're not seeing the tangible results. And we're wondering, man, are they doing the job? Are they doing a good job? You've got a standard in your mind for how you want them to perform. And you maybe think that they're not doing it. Right. You maybe think that they're not performing in that way. And so what happens then is you end up getting bad results. They're not driving the results that you think you want in the mind. They think that they need some more time. And then you end up firing them and you lose confidence for delegating altogether. If you have resonated with any of this at all and you're watching the YouTube version, hit me with a comment below that, yeah, I resonate. I've done this before, and let me know what your biggest challenge was. So how do we get through this now? Right. Well, the solution that I'm going to walk you through here in a bit with my agency aligner method is really a simple template. It's a one-page template. And I had to pull back and say, what are the biggest challenges that I've had with agencies? What are the things that can help to be able to fight through those challenges? And how do we create a process that it ensures that we go through and ask the right questions every time? And we've got a one pager that shows right there an alignment document between the two agencies or between you and the agency. Now, the crazy thing is we hire employees for, the amount that we would pay an agency. And we have a job description for them. We have a weekly meeting with them. We have a scorecard for them. We have expectations that we've set with them, and we move them towards those expectations. Why is it then that we don't do that with agencies? Oftentimes it's because the agency has their way of working and they want to push their way of working on us. I would argue that we need to have them work the way that we want them to work if they want to earn our business. Okay. So the next thing, guys, this agency aligner is going to help you set clear goals. It's going to help you create clarity on how you want to communicate back and forth with the agency to set the tone and set your ground rules for working with you, and also can help you get more consistent results. All right, guys. So I'm going to dive into the iPad here, and I'm going to walk through this agency alignment method. But before we do, let's kind of walk through what a good alignment versus bad alignment looks like. So this is kind of what I was doing in the past, right? I would hire an agency. I'd have a problem or a goal that I'm looking to move towards right there. And then I would go hire the agency. I need to get more traffic. I need to get more leads. I need to, get some PR or whatever it is. We hire the agency. And then we use their cadence. I thought I communicated what I want, but they picked up something different. There wasn't one unified way to align on the goals together. So there ended up being misalignment on those goals and just not a great cadence. And then we pull back and go, well, I don't want to micromanage them. They're professional. And so then we have blind trust and we abdicate that. Eventually that starts to fester. We go, man, are they doing the right work? We start to second guess their work. They're getting bad results. And then we get frustrated. We let them go. And like I said, we get discouraged. So the new process is this. Once again, get really, really clear on your problem or your goal. But then we need to set insanely clear expectations. Okay. We need to interview the agency just like we would an employee, make sure that they want to work the way that is going to work best for us. We need to set insanely clear expectations as we move forward, have a healthy monitor and accountability process, and then we move to success. Now, it sounds way simpler than it is. I understand that, but I'm going to give you this resource here. If you're watching the video, just screenshot this and you could print it off or whatever you want to do. But this is a tool I have for my coaching clients in my Epic coaching program. And we're bringing this tool out for you to see how we do it. And you can kind of retrofit and make your own or unlock all of my tools. If you're looking for a good coach, if you're looking for a great community, let me know. Just Garrett.com/epic, fill out an application and we'll be happy to see if we can help you grow your business. But let's walk through the agency aligner method. So let's say that we've picked an agency and we've worked through a few. They're reputable. They've had good reviews, good ratings. We really like the plan that they've laid out. Now at this point, I'm going to start to fill this out before I even start interviewing agencies, because this forces me to actually think through the challenges, think through what I'm actually looking for, and ensure that we're hiring to solve the right problem. Okay, so I'm going to sit down, and in this first section, in the review and prep section, we're going to really ask the question, what's the problem to be solved? Are we wanting to increase leads? Get specific with that. We're wanting to get leads from 100 a month to 500 a month within this ROI parameter, or for this lead cost, or whatever it is. We're wanting to drive more leads to this webinar, and we want to grow it from 1,000 a month in revenue to 20,000 a month in revenue. We want to increase our SEO results from bottom of page 1 to the top of page 1 for our keywords. Get really, really, really specific. Like you wave that magic wand in 6 months, 12 months, that agency has done an amazing job doing their work. What does success look like for you there? Okay. So the next thing is, I'm going to then write down what I've already tried, because as an agency myself, where I used to take on lots of clients in the past, I would ask that question. That's one of the first questions I, as an agency, would ask. I would go, cool, where do you want to go? And what have you already tried to get there? And so I'm just going to help them do some of that work ahead of time. So write down what you've already tried. Maybe you hired an internal person and that didn't work. Write some of the details there. Maybe you already hired another agency, or maybe you haven't done anything, but this is going to help the agency have context for what you've already tried, so they can pare down why that didn't work for you to reach that goal or solve that problem that you wanted to solve. Okay, once we've done some review and prep, now we're bringing that into the conversation with the agency. We're going to come down here also, and we're going to set our metrics, goals, and expectations, because the agency is a good agency is going to ask these things. A bad agency, if they never ask you what your goals are, what your current numbers are, what you've already tried, what success looks like for you, if they don't ask any of those questions, they're just saying, I've got this service and here's the price, run the other direction, because they're likely not a results-oriented agency. Focus on ones that ask the right questions. So we're going to also, before we hop in that call, get clear on the metrics, the goals, and the expectations. Okay, so we're going to first of all put our current and then the target, because we want to make sure that the agency is clear where we currently are and where we want to go. And we're going to pick that primary metric. What's the primary metric you're looking to move? If it's SEO, it might be leads. If it's Google pay-per-click, it might be leads, right? But then there's going to be these guardrails. So we always want to make sure that we're creating guardrails and communicating those guardrails to the agency as well. So if I want to get 1,000 leads a month in there, and it's leads, then I'm just going to write leads. Then I want to create a guardrail. Okay, it's got to be at a 4-to-1 ROAS or better. Okay, so I'm going to write that guardrail down. And I'm just going to write the guardrail. It's going to be ROAS. Okay. And maybe my current is not 4-to-1. Maybe my current is just 2-to-1. I'm just not getting as good results, but I want to get it up to 4-to-1 over here in my target. Okay. Let's say that my current leads is 200 a month in this funnel, but I want to get 1,000 a month at the 4-to-1 ROAS. And then another supporting metric could be something related to, in this case, it could be related to lead cost. It could be related to timeline or whatever. So I'm going to say lead cost. Okay, lead cost. Maybe I want to make sure that my lead cost is under whatever it's going to be, under $10 a lead. Okay, so that's mine now, and I want to get it under $10 a lead. Mine's over $10 a lead. I want to get under $10 a lead. So make sure that you're just writing this down. What are your primary metrics? What's the supporting guardrail? What are your current numbers in those? And then what are the targets moving forward? Because then you can really lay out where you want to go and paint that financial return on investment picture for the agency. Okay. The last part in this section before you actually hop on the call. So this section, the review and prep sections before you hop on the call, interviewing the agency. And then the metrics, goals, and expectations is before you hop on the call, interviewing the agency. This is you getting ready to be a great partner with the agency so you don't fail them. Okay. So I want to write down what winning looks like. When I've hired agencies in the past, I have a clear picture in my brain for what I'm expecting them to do. I have a clear picture in my brain for the standard I'm holding them to, but oftentimes we don't communicate those standards with them. Okay, if I have a standard to, man, we better be getting to, a 2-to-1 ratio within the first 60 days of this campaign, and I don't communicate that with them, I'm holding them to a standard that I have not communicated, which number one isn't fair, but also number two, they don't have a chance to now move towards that and create a plan that matches your expectation. And so I'm going to always have a clear a plan or a standard, what winning looks like for me for the 7 days, for the 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, and the 12 months. Okay, so for 7 days, it's going to be simpler probably. It's going to be, well, my expectation, what winning looks like for us is that we have our first ads actually launched within 7 days. Okay, and they may say, whoa, we can't do that. I would say, well, what are the roadblocks? What are the gaps? What are the challenges that we would need to work through in order for that to be true? So I want them to tell us, well, if it were possible, which it is, what would we have to do? And they may just say, well, we've got 5 clients in front of you. We can't take it. And you just have to be okay with that or not. Okay. But I'm going to say in the first 7 days, this is the progress I would like for us to see. Okay. I would like for you to do the full audit. I'd like for an audit for my website for the SEO and a plan within the first 7 days. How's that sound? Oh yeah, we can do that. Okay, cool. So the first 30 days, you might have a different expectation. I expect that we get our first 10 leads through this channel, ideally at this cost or below. Okay. Does that sound good to you? Because whatever your expectations are, they need to hear it so they can then tell you whether they believe they can do it or whether they believe it's realistic. We might be holding our agencies to unrealistic expectations or not giving them a chance to step into the plan that we would like for them to take. Same thing on a 60-day, 90-day. We should really be having a paid marketing campaign performing for sure within that 90 days. Any longer than the 90 days, then we're likely having a big issue unless our offer is the issue. But the agency, a good agency, is going to know whether the offer is the issue way sooner than that. Okay, so map those out. And in 12 months, here's the revenue I want to bring in. Here's the ROAS I want to bring in. And I want to be able to move into the second year with this and make it insanely clear what standard you're holding to them. So then they can hear it from you and they can tell you whether it's realistic or not, because that's what they're agreeing to do when we use the agency aligner method. Okay. Now let's say we hop on the phone call with them. This is where we're going to set the relationship up for success. Let's say they're okay with everything in there, or we negotiated some of the points. We negotiated some of the goals, the targets, the what winning looks like at the 7-day, 30-day, 60, 90, 12 months. We negotiated. We all feel good about that now. Now we go, great. What does it actually look like to work together then? And how do we make this amazing for both of us? So this is what I call the setting up for success part of the conversation. I'm going to ask them some questions that most people never ask an agency. When you start to ask your agencies these questions, I can guarantee you the relationship starts on a better foot and the success is going to be way more inevitable than maybe the way you're currently doing it now. So I'm going to ask them this question. What do your most successful clients do? Okay, because I want to be your most successful client. What do your best clients do? Okay, and then I'm also going to ask them, what are your best clients? What are your worst clients doing? What do they struggle with? What are the things that make them a bad client? Okay, so I want to be really, really clear. How do I be your best client? Because I want to be the best partner I can. I'm going to set you up for success so you can do your job. But I also want to know, what are the people who don't do a good job as a client do? What are those things that bug you as an agency? Write those down. Okay. Because I want to know, oh, well, yeah, cool. I can totally do those things better than those bad clients. I'll get you the assets back quickly. And they may say, well, the clients that don't do good, they never get us assets. We ask them for new assets and they never get them to us, or it takes a month. I go, cool. What's the ideal amount of time you want to get them back? Well, dude, if we can get them back in 24 hours, we can really move on things for you. Cool. I'm going to agree to always get things back to you within 24 hours. Okay. And I'll make sure that you've got a contact on our team. Awesome. What about the next one? So I'm going to go through every one of those, what the worst clients do, and I'm going to eliminate the possibility of those happening and either have a person on my team accountable for that, or I'm going to create that new expectation with my agency. So now they're reporting to me their expectations. Okay. So you see how this is going. reporting expectations back and forth. What most successful clients do, I'm going to then go, great. I'm going to do those things. And if they say, well, our most successful clients, they give us these things, I might even say, amazing. Do you have an example of that you could send to me? So of like the best one you've ever received from a client, the best format of the files, or the best whatever, or the best collateral. Like, let's say they're looking for assets for ads, pictures and images and copy. You might say, great. Do you have a document that you use or your best clients have used to be able to get you the stuff that you need the fastest and in the format you want? Oftentimes they may have a document and have them share that, or they might go create one for you. Okay. So you're setting them up for success and you're asking them to set you up for success too. Okay. It's a collaborative effort. I want to be your best client. Teach me how. Okay. So the next thing is, I want to be able to plan the divorce before it happens. And this is something that I learned years and years ago, whether it's with an employee or whether it's with an agency, is you always want to ask the question, well, when is it that we'll know that this isn't working or that it's starting to not work? Okay. Because if you know in your mind, once again, this is all about communicating what's already in your mind. We just need to get it on the table to talk about it. If you already know what things you would fire an agency for, talk about that with them. It's not off the table. Hey, you know what? When things are not working for me, as the person hiring you, it's when we don't get to a spot where we're at least hitting an ROI by this date. If we don't hit an ROI by that date, that's when I'm going to be really going, man, I wonder if this is working well. Okay. Can you understand that? Oh yeah, I totally get that. Okay, cool. The next thing is, if we try to reach out to you and just repeatedly, it's going to take 3, 4, 5, 6 days, or we just get non-replies, 100%, that's just not going to work for us. So we're probably going to have to move on from there. And they're going to go, yeah. So same thing over here. Hey, agency, how are you guys going to know when it's not working for you? Well, if you guys never get us collateral, if you guys are always bugging us, if you guys are doing these things, it's likely not going to work. If you guys stopped paying us, if you paid us late 2 months in a row, we're just probably going to have to part ways. So I want to know exactly what their rules of the game are. Guys, now at this point, we've set the relationship up for success. Okay. We have aligned clear goals. They know exactly what problem we're trying to solve. They know how we've tried to solve it before. They know what our primary metrics are that we're going to grade them on. They know where we currently are. They know where we want to go. They have a chance to see what we see that we feel success looks like at different time periods. We're getting those out of our brain. We get to know what their best clients do and their worst clients do. And they're going to help me become their best client. And then we talked about when things are not going to work out, what those indicators are going to be ahead of time. Okay. So now the last part is, if everything is still good and we're all looking at this going, man, this is great. We feel like this can be a great partnership. We want to leave that call with two extra things now. We want to make sure that we're clear what resources they need from us, when they need them by, and then we're going to set the cadence by which we meet. Okay. Those two things are some of the biggest things that can ruin the setup with an agency. So we're going to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Agency. So since we're moving towards these targets over here, what are the things that you need from me or my team, and by when? And they're going to tell us those things. And I'm going to write down who on my team is going to be doing those things. Okay. And then I'm also going to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Agency, these are the things I need from you. Okay. So I might write agency in this document. Here's the things that they need to deliver. Here's who on their team is going to deliver it. And here's the due date that they're going to deliver it by. We've just set an expectation. We've set an agreement, a contract with them that we now have deliverables and they have deliverables, and there's timelines, and we need to hold them accountable. We need to be held accountable. Okay. And we're going to ask them, hey, we want to be accountable to these. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. We plan on getting this to you on time, but if for some reason we falter, please call us on it. And do we have permission to do the same thing with you guys? Okay. Last thing then is cadence. This is the part that is probably a little bit controversial. If you're an agency watching this, you might hate me. Okay. But as a business owner and a person who has hired many agencies before, the thing that probably I have the hardest time with is I don't want to feel like I'm being fit into a one size fits all solution. I want to feel like I'm being fit into a solution that is going to solve the problems our unique business and the way that we run our business has. And what happens oftentimes is we hire an agency and they say, cool, we run paid traffic for you. We meet monthly. We send you a monthly report. And most clients say, okay, right? That's the way that the agency works. So therefore I'll say, okay. But I would argue that you would never do that if you hired an employee to run paid traffic for you. You would expect a weekly report. You would expect to be able to talk to them every single week to ask what's going right, what's not, what do you need, what do we need to adjust to get it back on track, how do we amplify that and make that thing that's working but good work better. You get 4 shots a month to tweak, improve, and move faster. If you're only meeting once a month and getting 1 paid traffic report a month, you're getting 12 shots a year is all. I want the 48 shots a year to be able to tweak and improve and adjust. I don't want the 12. Okay. And so I'm going to lay it out for the agency based on the type of work they're doing. There might be a different cadence that you may need. And I'm actually usually going to have them do a different cadence based on how we're starting versus on when we start to build that trust with each other. Okay. There's the launch phase. And so I'm going to say the launch phase. What would you say, Mr. or Mrs. Agency, is kind of the launch phase? Well, it's probably this first 30 days. Okay, cool. So those first 30 days, I would like, and I might say, well, awesome. What might that look like? What should I expect from the communication side of it? What should I expect from you guys? And let's say that they say, hey, here's what we're going to be doing, and we'll talk to you in a month. I would say, hey, great. What I'd actually like to do, though, is can I get a weekly email laying out the progress that's been had and anything that you need from us along the way. And then we will do that monthly call. And would you guys be open if I had questions to be able to hop on a quick call with you so we can move this thing along? So I'm going to move it now from a monthly report that they suggested to a weekly email showing what you've done, what you need from us, and getting permission to hop on a call if needed. I want to accelerate through that launch phase. Okay. Next thing is the metrics review. How often do you need to see the numbers of what that agency is doing? If it's an engineering agency and they're coding stuff for you, I probably don't want just a monthly. I probably want a daily report on what code is being pushed, or minimum a weekly, right? And so what is the metric review? What are the metrics? Well, hopefully it's these metrics we talked about earlier that are important to you. And there needs to be a scorecard. And I want them to fill out that scorecard or supply the metrics to us on that reporting cadence. If it's paid traffic, I'm going to have them report every single week, but it's okay if we have a monthly call after we get momentum with you. But in that first 90 days, guys, first month for sure, probably first 2 months, if you're running paid traffic for me, we're doing a weekly call. We're doing a weekly call. You're going to bring the metrics. You're going to bring what's working, what's not working. We're going to work together as we start to get that thing honed in. Then we'll decide, let's peel it back to an every other week, or let's peel it back to a monthly. Okay. But don't just fit into the agency's box. And then the last part is ideally there's some sort of a strategic or a progress related session that might be quarterly. Okay. Hey, every quarter, Mr. and Mrs. Agency, let's say they didn't suggest a quarterly. Hey, every quarter, Mr. and Mrs. Agency, what I'd like to do is I'd like to do a quarterly strategic session where we get a chance to review the quarter, how it went, review the plan moving forward, reset anything from there, and then go. How does that sound? And then set an agenda for it and get that on the calendar now so no one has to remember it. Okay, guys, so that's setting the cadence. So I'm going to recap really quick what the steps are to align with your agencies to stop wasting money on the agencies. Step 1, review and prep before you even hop on the call. What problem do you want to solve, and what have you already done to try to solve that problem that didn't work? Step 2, you want to define your metrics, your goals, and your expectations insanely clearly. Here's the primary metrics I'm looking to move. Here's where we are. Here's where we're going. And here's how I'm going to measure success in this relationship along this timeline. Okay, number 3, now we want to set up the relationship for success after we've decided that they're likely going to be the agency. I want to know what their best clients do, what their worst clients do, how I can be their best client, have them help support me in that, and then make sure that we set up expectations for when we know this relationship's not working. Okay, step 4 now is we're going to make sure to get the resource list. What are the action items from that meeting each one of us has by the due dates? Make sure to fulfill yours and hold them accountable for theirs. And then set the cadence, but don't bend around their way of doing things. Have them work around your way of doing things or what you want or need to make that relationship work. And then you can always change it as you go. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, it's a hyper tactical episode. This isn't a video that's going to go viral, but hopefully it's a video that changes your business and saves you tens of thousands of dollars. Guys, but the thing is, before you can ever even delegate anything to a marketing agency, you need to know what your marketing is going to be. You need to have a clear marketing plan. And I have a video of my top 4 best and favorite marketing books that really helped me to drive over $50 million in revenue. Click that link right here to check out my top 4 marketing books. We'll see you guys next time.